Good day, ladies and gents, wherever you may be around the world, and welcome to Splendid Isolation number 275. This evening, we're going to be talking about the Rupert Lowe and Restore Britain Rape Gang inquiry. We're also going to be talking about the recent Makerfield by-election and whatever other topics my guests want to bring up. As always, to give people time to join the stream, etc., I'm going to start us off with an excellent tune.
Take up the white man's burden, send forth the best ye breed. Go bind your sons to exile, to serve your captives' need. To wait in heavy harness on flooded folk and wild. Your new gods sullen peoples have devil and have child. Take up the white man's burden, in patience to abide, to veil the threat of terror and check the show of pride. By open speech and simple, 100 times made plain, to seek another's profit and work another's gain. Take up the white man's burden, the savage wars of peace. Fill full the mouth of famine and bid the sickness cease. And when your goal is nearest, the end for others sought, what's love and heed and folly, bring all your hopes to naught. Take up the white man's burden, no tawdry rule of kings, but toil of serf and sweeper, the tale of common things. The ports ye shall not enter, the roads ye shall not tread. Go make them with your living and mark them with your dead. Take up the white man's burden and reap his old reward. The blame of those ye better, the hate of those ye guard. The cry of those ye humor are slowly towards the light. Why brought ye us from bondage, a loved Egyptian night? Take up the white man's burden, ye dare not stoop to less, nor call too loud on freedom to cloak your weariness. By all ye cry or whisper, by all ye leave or do, the silent, sullen people shall weigh your gods and you. Take up the white man's burden, have done with childish days, the lightly profit laurel, the easy ungrudged praise. Come down to search your manhood through all of thankless years. No age with give or wisdom, the judgment of your peers. Take off the white man's burden through all of thankless years.
And that was, of course, Chris Gard, a genuine musician on the right. He's a husband and a father and does a real job as well as being a musician. And he's got some really good music. Do go and check out his YouTube channel. And you can also follow him on X, on Twitter, where we are also live at the moment. I've got Farian with me at the moment. I believe Atman's going to join us in a bit. And we should also be getting Horace this evening as a guest, he's been on here a few times before, but he's always an interesting chap. And other than that, I don't know. I invited a number of people this evening. We'll see who turns up. Thurium, how are you going, mate?
Hello. I think we're doing good. We're doing good today. As good as can be in this.
Yeah. In the clown world that we live in at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one of the things I noticed last week was you probably saw the poor little 3-year-old boy that was chucked into a
that's
crocodile enclosure.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that today. Yeah, it's it's like it's got all the hallmarks, doesn't it? It's like the police.
He's out on bail though, you know.
Yeah, I know, right?
I was listening to I was watching Count Dankula on X, and Dankula, you know, when he got that ridiculous charge because he taught his little pug dog to raise his paw.
Yeah,
he wasn't given bail.
And he's too dangerous.
At all. But if you chuck a little 3-year-old into a crocodile enclosure, you get bail.
Yeah.
It's clown world, mate. It's just.
I mean, it is just a nondescript Norfolk man, of course.
Yeah, no. Look, I have. Well, I don't know who he is. I've heard that he might be somebody who probably should be in some description of loony bin, but you know, they don't have those anymore, do
just
they?
A random Norfolk man. What do you mean? The police can't possibly tell us any more than that.
No, of course not. And they did tell us not to speculate because the thing about any of these crimes, you know, when that Sudanese fella decided to get a deaf bloke and make him blind as well as deaf, and also attempt to chop his head off. The thing was not the crime; it was people showing the crime. Yeah. The fact that people were able to see it on X, that was the bad thing, you know. It's never the crime. It's like when those 3 little girls were murdered by that vile Somalian, I think he was. It wasn't the murder of 3 little girls that was the problem. It was people who were angry about it. That was the problem, you know. This is the world that we live in. And, you know, it wouldn't make any difference. I mean, I detest two-tier Keir Starmer, of course, but it wouldn't make any difference if Andy Burnham was the Prime Minister. It wouldn't make any difference if the Nigerian woman who is the Conservative leader was Prime Minister. I'm not sure it would make any difference if Nigel Farage was, to be quite honest with you.
No, like, public unrest is something Nigel Farage just can't deal with. He does not have the stomach to deal with that. Whatever it was about.
Yeah.
He'd just go full on machines all the thing.
We need to stop importing these people into the country. It's like, you know, it's not even surprising. It's you know, it's what you expect to happen pretty much.
Yeah. I did hear that.
Good evening, Horace. How are you going, mate?
Evening, chaps. Yeah, how you doing?
Yeah, just to catch you up if you weren't listening, we're talking about the poor little 3-year-old who was chucked into the crocodile enclosure at the zoo, and the bloke's already out on bail.
I mean, apparently, I heard him described as having learning disabilities. So, you know, talking about someone who's just like really mentally retarded. Is that this person isn't safe on the best of days, really?
Yeah. But, so what was he doing on his own? Apparently, what I heard was that the carer that was with this mental patient was busy on their phone.
Yeah.
Cool. I wonder, was this perhaps some third world carer? Because there's a lot of those.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Perfectly possible.
I mean, did you hear that story? It was a couple of years ago now, I think, where this old woman, she falls down in her house, and then these 2 carers turn up, one of them's like Bengali, the other one's some sort of African. Neither of them speak English. Neither of them can even speak their own languages to each other. And it's just they try phoning the police to get an ambulance, but they can't because no one understands anything. So this woman is just sat there, like suffering as her two carers just ineptly babble to themselves.
Yeah, but you do realise, don't you, Farim, that the problem there is there's just not enough translators. At the 999 call centre. There should be just more translators.
It's a bit racist of us, really, to not speak their languages.
Yeah, I mean, we should all speak. We should all be like Mitch and speak about 15 languages.
Yeah.
Do you reckon if they become the majority at some point, it will become like, I don't know exactly how, but it will become like where they're condemned for not speaking English all around the world because like that is the civic language that we're all, God no, I don't know. Like, do you know, like the left, in a sense, are the real racists? I know it's like a ridiculous cliche, but they actually project. They actually think the rest of the world is regressive, obviously, and that but that's one of the reasons to bring people here is to civilize. Is like they like come in. They really think that they're like older. Like Christian missionaries or something.
Yeah, it's they're too primitive to. Sorry.
No, you carry on.
Because like you say, they think they're all too primitive to figure anything out for themselves, which I won't comment on. But yeah, that is the leftist view of it.
Well, they won't say
I was just going to say they'll all end up speaking BBC Pidgin, probably. But there is a BBC Pidgin. There's a BBC Pidgin channel, but yeah.
That's the final lingua franca. Everything just descends as we become like average IQ drops into.
It will be it'll be the London minority ethnic. That's what it is. That's the future of English.
I want to.
When everyone's got a 65 IQ, you know.
when I'm like the minister for reversing the 20th century or whatever, I will be like just frankly eradicating that. What would they call it? MLE. Like that will they will be stomped out by force. I mean, people they'll be
Have you seen this one rapper? He's a proper white ginger English guy, but he talks like a Jamaican. Have you seen any clips of this guy?
I've probably met him, but no.
I hate those people.
He's some rapper.
White guys who try and sound black. I hate them.
Well, he's some rapper. And he says he bumped his head or something one day, and then he woke up in hospital just talking Jamaican. And it's like, like these people, they're going in the electric shock therapy, shocking all that crap out of them.
Yeah,
in Brave New World, they like educate and indoctrinate people in their sleep by playing tapes to them or whatever. I wonder if in that hospital, while he was out a couple of days,
he said he was like in London. He's from London, so he sort of grew up around lots of Jamaicans anyway. I think his mum was also a mud shark after she had him. So, but yeah, it's just these white lads. They just need they need that.
I did notice that Alman tried to join us, but it didn't connect. So hopefully you will get that sorted out. Okay. Let me see. What have I missed from the chat? Because I've been reading something.
Duke, I don't know if Tharim's told you, but it's steaming hot here. I've got the windows open, so if there's background noise, tell me. I'll shut the windows.
Well, I've got my air conditioning on, but it's the heating I've got on because I've got it on 21, which is not very high. But yeah, it's winter down here, so
Are you in like southern Australia when you say down here? Or do you mean
I'm actually in Victoria, which is down the bottom of Australia. But Victoria's got like British type weather. I can see where the palms settled here because it changes about 5 days.
I mean, 21.
The only thing
we get much hotter than 21.
No. I've got the heating set at 21. It's less than that.
Okay.
But and also it's just gone 6 in the morning. But also we don't get much snow here except in the mountains. Like I could go skiing if I wanted to, like, I don't know, maybe an hour's drive, 45 minutes. But it's not my bag. I don't like snow very much. But it only snows here about once every 10, 15 years, something like that. Very rare. But so it's not quite as cold as England is, but it gets pretty chilly in the winter sometimes.
I mean, they're saying it could get up to 36 here in England.
Yeah,
That's absurd.
Well, it gets that here. I mean, we probably get one day of 40 a year, I guess.
But that's Australia.
Yeah,
we all expect that.
Adamant, you've changed your avatar.
Yeah, I recognise that.
Yeah, I'm not at my computer, so I have to go get whatever was on my phone.
Who's made me racist? It reminds me of
Such a classic. Oh yeah, he's still around.
Yeah, he's still streaming on Odyssey, I think.
Oh.
Toller, who was involuntarily put on the front page of the Times when he had like a 2,000 or 3,000 subscriber channel on YouTube, just like casually just chatting away. Suddenly he's on the front page of the Times. Ridiculous.
What was it called? The Sunday Roast or something? The streamer used to do.
I can't remember. Yeah, something like that.
We're also on Odyssey, by the way. All our streams go directly to Odyssey, so it's kind of an insurance policy in case we ever get kicked off YouTube. But all our streams go to Odyssey, so if you want to, you can subscribe to us there. And there is a link in the description of us how to find it. You can also, by the way, guys, you can subscribe and support this channel for a whole $5 a month on Subscribestar. And that is pinned at the bottom of the chat, and it's also in the description. And as I say, it's $5 a month, which I think is well worth it for 8 streams a month. But there we go. Anyway, since we've got a fair number of people here now, did anyone have something they wanted to talk about this evening that was not either the rape gang inquiry or the recent by-election result?
I wanted to talk about the crocodile thing. She just did.
Which we kind of have.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think we've pretty much done that. I mean, the fact that the dude's out on bail is it's just amazing to me. Chuck a 3-year-old into a crocodile enclosure and you get out on bail. I don't know.
Oh my God. I'm going to have to rewind and listen to this.
It's I just don't know why we treat people who are like mentally retarded as just innocent of everything.
Yeah.
And these are why we had asylums. It's not about cruelty to them. I mean, well, you know, some of the asylums were bad, sure. They don't need to be that anymore. No. These people are a danger to themselves just as much as everyone else.
Well, it's like, you know, if they're dangerous to children and the general public, then I'm sorry, they can't just wander around. It's as simple as that, really.
Yeah.
Right. Our goal should really be about protecting the general public and children in particular, more so than one person's rights. I would agree with that. And I do think there are a lot of people that do oversee these institutions now. So we're not talking about, like you said, Therium, the institutions of the past that were cruel.
Yeah, we don't need to like just shock them for no reason.
Right.
But it's like we have no problems taking away rights from like someone like me or you, someone who's mentally sound. If we do something bad, we get our rights taken away from us. We go to prison. But you know, if you're deemed too low IQ, you can't do that.
Right. And I guess that goes to the goal of, you know, whether you're trying to, like, prison is supposed to be to protect the public, and it's also supposed to be to see, you know, if you can possibly help these people to enter society again. But if you know you can't, that these people are that unstable, then yes, the rights of the general public need to be more important than the individual rights. That's my opinion.
I mean, Norway has good results with their prisons. They're very soft prisons. But I feel that's more of a Norwegian thing because you're dealing with Norwegian people.
I heard two interesting cases this week. One was a French woman who got 3 months in prison because she was sexually assaulted by an immigrant in France and talked about it on a TV show.
No.
Yeah, she got 3 months in jail for that. Not the guy who sexually assaulted her, the immigrant guy. Her, because she was doing something against social cohesion or whatever other bollocks they call it. And then there was a girl in Sweden, I think it was, who she was waiting outside a hospital. One of her friends was in the hospital being treated, and some immigrant lads came along and hustled her into the bushes and sexually assaulted her. And when she went to court,
probably a very nice term to use.
Yeah, exactly. And well, you got to be careful on YouTube because if you say the R word on YouTube, you get into trouble.
That's true.
But yeah, she was sexually assaulted by a group of blokes, not one, but a group. And when she went to court, the judge said, "Oh, well, it's your fault. You shouldn't have allowed yourself to be hustled into the bushes. It was your fault."
Right, you shouldn't be standing in public alone as a girl because
and
you're asking for it.
This was a teenage girl, like 16, 17, something like that. We just live in clown world. We do.
Do you remember in England there was a really similar case to that a couple of months ago?
Yeah.
There was two boys. The court refused to release. They still haven't released the video of it. They said, sorry, the defense lawyers, I guess state-assigned defense lawyers, said in the case to the judge, and I guess he agreed, that the footage, they recorded it themselves while raping her. They said that the defense lawyers successfully argued that footage shouldn't be released because it would cause violence, they said.
Yeah.
Like social, like chaos. That was just about 2 or 3 months ago, somewhere Midlands or North.
Yeah, a little bit more, but yeah. And
that was exactly, Horace, what they said about the deaf dude in Belfast. He was deaf. The Somalian guy, he stabbed both his eyes out. So the guy's now deaf and blind, even if he survives. And he also tried to chop his head off. And the issue, according to the lady mayoress of Belfast and all the rest of it, was not this Somalian dude doing this. It was that people were able to see it on X, on Twitter. That was the problem.
And Elon Musk is the problem, and Musk controls us all and incites riots and stuff. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. I mean, I would never do anything unless Elon Musk told me to.
That one case you were talking about, Horace, with the two guys. The thing that really bothered me most about that was that there were multiple people who passed, and no one helped her.
And
she's calling out to help these people. Yeah,
we have seen the footage of them dragging her off. Yeah, and it's like they're clearly dragging her away. I mean, yeah.
They talk about as a woman, you learn about self-defense and everything, and they say that you should yell other things than help. Because it oftentimes won't get the attention properly of people, and people don't want to get involved. This
is a big problem in general, is that the sort of bystander effect, and people always think, oh, someone else will do it, I won't get involved.
Right.
And of course, in Britain, it's not even legal for a woman to carry pepper spray or something. Illegal.
I think that's insane. I mean, that does not do any permanent harm to anyone.
Exactly.
And yet, sexual assault or rape, whatever, that's absolutely going to do permanent harm.
I mean, the excuse they give,
although of course, Sikhs are allowed to carry knives, as we now know. So
The excuse they give with the pepper spray is that, well, criminals might use it. It's like, okay, well, they're already doing the raping. Like, I think that's the least of their concerns.
but the thing
Right.
is, right, I don't know if the government's ever worked this out, but the people who don't take any notice about their rules about pepper spray and knives and guns even
Mhm.
are criminals. They don't take any notice of those rules.
Right.
You know,
They
it's
don't-
only,
they don't-
it's only
like-
law-abiding people who take notice of rules, you know?
Right. The laws over here in America with guns, it always astounds me that the left, I do believe there should be some of the laws we have in place for protection. You don't want people that are clearly mentally ill or juveniles to come in and buy weapons, of course. But yeah, the people that are law abiding, like me, that have all my guns registered, I pay attention to these laws. The people that are out there, doing these drug gangs, whatever, like they don't care. They're getting stolen arms. They don't care about the laws. They don't adhere to
yeah,
laws.
and the thing is as well is that
Gangbangers, absolutely. You know, they'll say to the head of the gang, "But I can't do that; it's illegal."
Yeah, of course. They're very stand up. Yeah, that's funny.
but the thing is as well is like, I mean, even in America, the Democrats have in the past passed legislation or have blocked legislation specifically because it would get guns out of the hands of people who shouldn't have them, where it would be illegal for them to have them because they're registered felons and such like that. Like, they're also actually a pro-gun party just for people they actually like. It's just not,
Oh yeah,
white Americans.
Yeah. If
Yeah.
it's an illegal Mexican immigrant, the Democrats would object to those people losing their guns for sure.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Although, if you're a British or a European woman, and the rare occasion that you might be listening to this, deep heat is also a good alternative.
It's not.
I mean, even here in no, it's not.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
here well, I'm not in Spain now. I'm in France, but I was in Spain. They've reintroduced grizzly bears into the Pyrenees, but they still won't let people carry bear spray.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they've got brown bears there, Adam, and I'd want bear spray for sure if I was.
Brown
Yeah,
bears
whenever I
not-
mentioned it as well.
Brown bears
They're
not-
grizzlies. They're brown
So the
bears.
proper ones. There.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, the black bears are a little bit less dangerous, but Europe
Oh, they're a
doesn't
lot less.
have
A
them.
lot less.
Yeah, but Europe,
Yeah.
well, they can still kill you.
But they rarely.
They're
they
very
rarely.
rarely, yeah.
Yeah,
There was a story of a black bear killing an Indian MMA
Yeah.
fighter the other week, which was kind of funny.
Yeah, well, the black bears in India are a bit different to the black bears.
No, this was. I think this was in Canada.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, fair enough. Yeah.
It wasn't
Well,
Because people were taking the piss out of it, and they found all the Indians on Twitter found this story of an Inuit man that defended his family and died fighting a polar bear. And they're like, "Oh, look at the fat American who can't fight a polar bear." And it's like, have you seen the polar bear?
Oh my
Jesus
God.
Christ!
Yeah, polar bears are about 12 foot tall when they stand up on their hind legs. But
And they're
yes.
much more aggressive too.
Yeah.
Black bears and brown bears, you typically do not, unless they're provoked. And like Duke, we were watching that video. Remember about the young kids that were like, I mean, young kids, I say, they were like teenagers, and they were taking this little baby black bear cub and trying to
Yeah.
pick it up.
Really
and
silly. Yes,
Yeah.
really silly. Because
And the parents were standing there, and the parents were videotaping it.
Gonna like it.
No.
If you see baby bears, you kind of stay away from them because
Right.
there's an angry mom around there somewhere. But yeah, grizzly bears, brown bears, those animals are much more dangerous. And they do fairly frequently kill people.
Yeah.
I don't remember if I told this story on this show or not. If I did, I'm sorry. But my dad was bow hunting in, I believe it was like Colorado or somewhere around there. And it was toward the end of the day, and he was going to go in, but he was just kind of looking to see where he wanted to set up for the next day, and kind of scouting it out. And he turns around, and there's a bear standing right behind him. And he said it was so close and so quickly there that he said I wouldn't have had a chance to do anything if that had been a mom with cubs. I wouldn't have been able to do anything. You can't, get your bow, get an arrow in your bow in time to take care of that. And that might not even
Well,
be
a bow
effective.
doesn't
But,
kill instantly. So
well, I
yeah,
said to my,
he's dead, yeah.
I asked him, I said, well, what kind of bear was it? And he said it was a Rocky Mountain brown bear or something. And I said, oh, well, it wasn't a grizzly. And he goes, Aubrey, it was still a really big bear.
Well,
He was
yeah,
like, it could have still done damage.
Yeah, basically grizzlies is what they call brown bears in America, but
Yeah, but grizzlies are actually the smallest species of brown bear in North America. Actual brown bears are bigger. Yeah, there are varieties that are way bigger, like Kodiak bears are enormous.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like
the Kodiak bears, I know about those things. They're up in Alaska, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
We've
Everything's
been
bigger up there, I
seeing
think.
bears in my neighborhood, or my about 5 miles away from me, so close by, and around my dad's house as well too. They've had sightings, but I live close to a wildlife reserve.
But that would be black bears.
Right. I'm not afraid of them, but some people saw them on their cameras. They were swimming in the pool with their little babies, which I think is adorable.
If you had to just if there's like if you had to go into like just pure unarmed combat, just like a sort of a 10 foot by 10, 10 meter by 10 meter ring or something, what would be worse to go up against than a polar bear? What's a harder? Because a lion or a tiger or whatever,
nothing,
you might be able to avoid
nothing. You're gonna die, whatever.
An elephant?
No,
a hippo?
Elephant or hippo, yeah.
Yeah, a polar bear, a grizzly bear, a lion, a tiger, you're gonna die, mate. Honestly.
The cat,
99.9% you're gonna die.
But a bear is like fairly smart. It's like quite agile. It's huge. It's ridiculously strong. It's ridiculously aggressive. It's just got it all, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the things when I was searching up about like how to deal with bears because of the bears in the Pyrenees now. There's only like 60 of them. And I was like, oh, have you got to like hang your food like they did back in the day? And I'm looking at like these articles by like American hikers where they have to deal with this a lot, and they're like, that was something we did back in the day because we didn't know any better. But they're like bears can climb trees, like even the biggest bears can climb really well. Like there's no point hanging your food up; they'll still get to it.
Right. My dad, when or my grandma and grandpa and my two uncles, actually, my dad was in the Navy at the time, so he wasn't there, but my grandparents took the two younger brothers camping, and they had one of those pop-up campers, so if anybody's not familiar, it's just like a little square that you pull behind your car, and then it pops up and then out. So there on the ends are the two beds. And my grandma said that she smelled something that smelled like wet dog, and it was a really strong smell. And she looked out, and there was a bear that had fallen asleep right underneath where my uncles were sleeping, and they were little.
Jesus.
Yeah, and it just like it was raining, and so it just decided to tuck on under there and take a little nap. And I said, "Oh my God, what did you do?" And she said, "Nothing." And I said, "Grandma, didn't you like get the boys up and pull them over on your side?" She said, "No, I didn't think that it would do anything as long as they just stayed quiet." I was like, "You're crazy. You're crazy."
I mean, that was the thing they say here is that there's so many marmots in the Pyrenees and there's only like 60 bears that they'll never go after people, or they'll very, very rarely ever go after people because they'd rather not go near people if they can help it.
Yeah, but bears don't normally set out to kill people. It's just an accident. They're next to you and they react to it because they didn't hear you because it was windy or whatever else.
Yeah.
Well, in America, don't they? If you get bears that are sort of hanging around human settlements too much, they've got bits used to humans. They shoot them, don't they?
Well, not usually. They'll try to relocate them.
They do. They take them a long way away and release them first.
They do try. They will typically only do that if it's harmed somebody. Yeah. They usually try
Well,
to placate.
fascinating as this wildlife chat is, and like I am desperately keen on the wildlife and animals and so on. You know, I'd happily talk about animals all evening. We should probably get on to more relevant stuff at the moment. Since we've had a couple of more people join us, like AI has joined us, did anyone have something they wanted to talk about that was not either the Restore Britain Rape Gang report or the recent Makerfield by-election?
Well, I actually wanted to talk about not the rape gangs, the report, but I just kind of wanted to talk very quickly about kind of the psychology of what happens with these girls. But that I don't know what you guys already discussed because I came on a little late, so my apologies.
Yeah, well, maybe leave it until we're actually talking about that stuff, Aubrey. AI, did you have anything you wanted to talk about that was not those two things?
No. I think those particular two things. The only thing, and this is going to sound like I've sort of fallen down a rabbit hole, another one, so to speak, of the recent. I don't know if Aubrey may have not heard about this, but I think we've all heard about. Maybe you've heard about this as well. There was a train collision here in Britain, and what it there's been this really bizarre set of like interviews by passengers, and there's one chap who is a doctor, and he is a apparently well-known activist doctor for Extinction Rebellion, and he's also a big fan of a TV show that the BBC produced, I think about a year or two ago, about a story where an eco-terrorist group hijack a train along the same line that this happened, between, going the line that going northwards out of London, out of King's Cross, and they attempt to derail the train. A few people on social media were pointing out this connection, and as I say, I've fallen down that rabbit hole. It's weird.
That's
It
kind
is
of a
really
big
weird.
coincidence, isn't it? I mean, how often do
It
trains
is kind.
derail and to be on that train when that's a big fascination of yours?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. I think maybe the British Transport Police should investigate him, because that's kind of, I don't believe in coincidences, so that
Right.
seems to be like a bit concerning, that.
But I mean, do you want to be on the train that you're derailing?
Well, that's a good question.
Well,
That's a good question too.
that is a good point. I will say he didn't have any visible injuries, because he did like the interviews like straight after. So I don't know. I mean, it didn't derail, but
So maybe he knew like
It,
where the safe places would be on the train in that instance for whatever happened. I mean, you could research that ahead of time.
yeah.
80 people, okay. So wasn't that
free critical, apparently?
Yeah, one death, the train driver on I think it was the shunter, the one that was from Luton Airport.
Would you know what
And
what went wrong with it? Have they said that yet?
no, the trouble is, because one of the drivers is dead. Nobody probably would know from that perspective. When it comes to the other driver of the train, again, no. Apparently, there was no attempt on either. The one that was the shunter, the one from the airport, was stationary, and the other one that was the high speed one came around the corner. It was going southbound, and just went into that train.
Do they have a black box on those like they do on airplanes? Probably not.
No, I don't know. No, they radio into like the control center.
They
Apparently,
usually have some
Yeah, I
automatic
think there's
signaling stuff on trains, though. I mean, that shouldn't happen.
yeah. Well, that's the point, and that's why everyone's a bit confused of why this has happened, because the rail, I mean, the whole rail network is digitalized in the sense of there is like a massive, set of onboard computers and everything, which will show where where every train is, and so it's kind of strange that this has
Right.
happened in the way that it has, and
But
yeah,
you
I
would
think
think it
there's
would
more
alert.
to.
Sorry, you would think it would alert that something like that there's something stationary ahead of time with enough time that you could slow down or stop or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's supposed to be
yeah,
it's supposed to be automated. That should not happen. They're supposed. It should be. It's these days that stuff is all computerized, and it should be that if there's another train on the track, the one with the passengers should be stopped. So
Right.
yeah, and of course,
obviously
high
something's
speed
gone
rail.
wrong there.
Yeah, and of course, there's like a big, obviously big part of the infrastructure problems in this country has, of course, been high speed rail. You have the HS2 project, which is non-existent and a massive, financial black hole. But I'm still that Extinction Rebellion doctor, and his sort of like I mean, it was his willingness to do all the media interviews, like literally on the moments after Peter Knapp, that's his name, and yeah, it's it's
That part
weird.
wouldn't surprise me. Like, these people would just love attention.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I those Extinction Rebellion types are absolute scum. I mean, and they get away with
Yeah.
everything because, of course,
Interesting thing to look into, though.
although they pretend to be, rebels, they're actually doing Miliband and the government's work for them. Basically, I mean, they're completely on side with the government, really.
They were allowed to drive a truck up to the Treasury, I think, and spray the whole front of the building like paint or whatever. I mean, it wasn't like damaged.
Orange paint, yeah.
Yeah, and
They were allowed.
Another group,
Horace,
another group do
Horace,
MI6's building as well, which
Yeah,
is not allowed. You don't get away with that. Like
Horace, they did the same thing to Stonehenge. They sprayed that with orange paint, and they also smashed in the glass case with the original Magna Carta.
Well, they tried. It was a feeble old woman, and she failed. Luckily,
but and they chucked
right?
They chuck paint over great works of art, and they just get away with it all the time.
The Magna Carta incident was there was another guy in on it who was a YouTuber. I can't remember his name. I'm pretty sure Royal Biscuits in chat always refers to him as Down Syndrome Andy Bolton, or something like that. But he actually was in on the whole thing and like recorded it and then released the footage like afterwards as this whole big thing. It wasn't done as like an accessory to vandalism or anything like that. Like, just
it's just
nothing
lads
said about
having
it at all.
fun,
Yeah.
Come on. Anybody on the left, they're harmless. They're the party of empathy and love.
But nothing ever happens to these people. Like when they go to court, they get a fine and they get, they never go to prison.
There were the ones who did. They were blocking up the London Bridge.
It varies, yeah. Like some of them people do get done for, and they do even get prosecuted and sentenced sometimes. But the Treasury one I mentioned, because there was not even any any sign of any arrest or anything, and for that the police have to be told to let them do it. Like otherwise, the police will arrest them if a truck drives up to the Treasury.
Horace, Alexander Adams, friend of this channel, who's an art critic and first came across this band a few years earlier before all of this, and in the art gallery scene, and effectively they're just invited in. He'd experienced a few years earlier when they were attacking art exhibitions and galleries Turner paintings and all that sort of stuff. What they do is the art gallery itself organizes them to come in to do this. All
Oh,
the cameras,
wow.
all the media cameras, all the press, all the independent photographers are there, and they already, it's basically like this, pre-planned event, and they go in there, do what they need to do, and so there isn't any because one thing they don't want, and this was actually a good reveal, is one of their biggest concerns, Extinction Rebellion, is if they would do this on the hop, that there would be like a member of the public who would just attack them. Which quite rightly so,
it's
because
like all the security guards in the galleries and museums are told not to touch these people.
yeah,
Have to.
Hmm.
yeah, but there have been instances where they have, there was one Extinction Rebellion incident where it was a crossing in London, and somebody got out of the van and just started kicking one of their heads in, because they all like sat down, tried to do a change, and started kicking their heads in, and so that was like, that's what triggered a lot of the pre-planned events, because it was like, oh, this like, there was just like one guy in a van who just went full taxi driver mode and just like dishing out some street justice sort of thing.
So were the
Yeah.
artists involved in this too as like a stunt? I'm guessing the artists weren't, right?
No.
So-
Banksy does,
This
Yeah.
is mostly
Right.
It's
like
all
So
museums.
to find out that
it's
the
historic art. It's
okay,
people
because
like
I was gonna
Turner,
say to find out that the art that you're like the gallery where you we're gonna display
Yeah.
your art. Okay,
No,
so
they're
it's
dead.
over.
yeah, no, this is like mostly historic art from previous eras.
But somebody has
yeah.
to be responsible for it. Somebody's the like caretaker of that
For
or
sure,
overseer of that. So
for sure, Aubrey. Right, we've been going 45 minutes. We got two very big subjects to talk about, and I think we need to start with them. Now, what I want to do is I want to do the by-election first, and then we will devote the last hour or so to the rape gang report. But I want to do the by-election first. Now, I think I'm correct in saying that at least 4 out of 6 of us on this panel are Restore Britain supporters, broadly speaking. I certainly am. I think the jury is still out that Restore Britain should even have gone into that by-election. I fell out. I don't know why, because I didn't disagree with him about this, but I fell out with Aaron Hook about this. And Aaron Hook, I invited onto this stream, by the way. I sent him the link and told him I was going to send him the link like 15 hours ago. Listen, I'm not sure Restore should have stood in that seat. I think that Restore need to learn some lessons from that campaign. In particular, they had a very poor candidate. She stood on the stage and rolled her eyes when Rupert Lowe was talking about deportations. And Restore had to stop her being interviewed by the hostile media because she wasn't very good. And
we do love our eye rolls, though, we women.
Yeah. Hey, can you please let me finish? Aubrey?
Oh my God. Okay.
Please don't keep interrupting just for the minute. All right. I'm trying to set this up at the moment. Okay. So anyway, she wasn't a very good candidate. Restore were the people who were keeping her away from the mainstream media. Why run with a not very good candidate? Well, they rushed it. Is the answer to that, I think. Then you had people like the Lotus Ears and also Connor Tomlinson, I think it is, who were over predicting. Now, I never thought that Restore were going to win that seat, but I was hoping for 10% plus of the vote. Now, 7%, which is what they got, I think it was 6.8, 7%, something like that. That's not a disaster, given the party's only 2-3 months old. But, I mean, a disaster would have been 5% or less, given the amount of effort and time that Restore put into it. But 7%'s not a disaster, but it wasn't great. And I think they have a lot of disappointed supporters, including myself. And they have a lot of disappointed volunteers who put in a lot of time up there and spent their own money to go do it. Was it worth it? I don't know. Now, you can say they came third. They beat the so-called Conservatives. They beat the so-called Greens. They beat the Lib Dems. But they were a long way back third. I don't know. I think Restore need to take some lessons for this and not do the same thing again. And like I say, I'm a Restore supporter. I think Rupert Lowe and Restore Britain are Britain's very last chance to vote our way out of this destruction thing that we're on at the moment. Britain's going to be destroyed if we don't get a decent government. And we don't have all that long to do it. Now, as I say, I'm sorry, I've been talking a long time, but I'm setting this up so that people like Tharium, Horus, Adamant, and AI can tell me what they think about this. And also,
everybody
Aubrey,
but me. Fuck.
Aubrey, with all due respect to you, you are an American, all right?
I agree. I understand. It's just funny that you have to state that.
And more importantly, you're a woman as well. So
right.
Well,
Thank you.
you're
Thank
she's
you.
Not,
just
she's
a
not
girl.
she's not only an American, she's a girl too.
There we go.
Now,
this is a gentleman's. This is a gentleman's bar. The women sit at the tables at the back. They're not allowed to come up to the front of the bar. I don't care if this is a Labour government running the show, I'm Duke.
yeah. Listen, Aubrey knows very well. I wouldn't let women vote. She knows this. But and I mean it. I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. But I know AI, for example, did a very good, quite short video about this, which I very largely agreed with. So yeah, I'm going to hand it over to everyone here, and I'm going to ask Horus first because Horus is only on here now and again. What's your take on the Makerfield by-election, Horus?
Yeah, I was like, I think I was indifferent about whether they should run a candidate, but when they said they were, I thought, well, fair enough, because I think the leadership was probably indifferent, but they got a lot of sort of people in the area saying, well, we're up for this,
Yeah.
And then I think maybe the leadership maybe made too much of it in terms of publicity, but on the other hand, I don't really see how they could have not done so, because there was hundreds of people traveling up there prepared to make that effort and spend the money and stuff. And like for the leadership to say, don't bother. I mean, like it wouldn't happen, they're going to use that energy if it's on offer. But yeah, like, I mean, I think Carl Benjamin, especially segments on Lotus Eaters, the occasions I'm subscribed to Lotus Eaters because I watched Bo's breakfast show. He's my mate. But like there's some very sort of lazy content put out as well.
I mainly watch the Lotus Eaters, Horus, for I like Bo. I've streamed with Bo. He's a good bloke. And I like Dan, actually, as well, to be honest. But yeah.
Brokenomics is good. Yeah, but they, some of these segments are basically just riffing off of a pretty vague news story or some polling results. I think it is just a mistake to everyone on all sides to believe polls and to base discussion on polls. It does not. It's just almost always just bullshit. Although somebody maybe did predict that Restore would get about 7%, so I don't know, but because I ignore all the polls.
One of the polls actually did say that, Horus.
Yeah.
But what we kept getting from the Lotus Eaters and from Carl Benjamin was that, oh no, Restore's own internal polling is saying 12%, 15%,
well, it was
20%.
is apparently coming from reform as well. And I think sorry, Horace. I believe that number is genuine, but it's like, so the poll that said 7%, that was taking out people who didn't vote previously. And I think a real challenge for Restore is, okay, how do you get these people who, like these non-voters who do support you? They need to come up with some better messaging to actually make them get out and vote.
Maybe have a better candidate. Maybe
I know that would help.
Candidate.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like Makerfield is a bit of it's not like a normal sort of by-election really, because it's all about replacing Starmer.
Well, yeah, and also it is one of the safest Labour seats in the whole country. I mean,
it's been Labour for since forever. Right?
Always,
I mean, I was encouraged to see that Reform won the council seats or whatever it was, but I mean, that doesn't seem to have amounted to much.
Well, that's an interesting thing, isn't it? Because Reform kind of lost support since then.
Right. I'll hand back to everyone in a sec, but I just was going to say 7% or 3,000 votes is quite hard to drum up for a new party.
Yeah.
I think they do all right. They shouldn't be despondent about it.
No, it's not a disaster, Horace. It's not a disaster.
No, it's quite respectable.
Whether they should have bothered with all that effort is a different story. You know,
the Greens got 0.7%.
I love to see hundreds of people out pounding the streets. That's absolutely great. Keep that motivation going if you can. But the one, just to conclude, two things. One, people could check out the friendly critique from Maven Politic, which is it's on.
That's excellent, Horace. Yes, I've read that.
Yeah.
I put it on my X, on my Twitter as well. And Beda Britannia showed that to me, who's another chap from my Discord. And yes, he's 100% right what he says there.
Yeah, he's clearly not attacking the party. He wants the party to do all right. And the second thing I would say is just there's an ongoing problem, I think, with who runs Rupert Lowe's social media accounts, which a lot of people say is Alistair Harrison. I'm sure, well, it seems like it is, but maybe other people as well. There may be some people have said his woman, like his wife or whatever. But I think they're running it. They're doing their job very, very badly. I think they should be removed from that. They maybe do some other role, but I think they're awful. They give a really bad impression. They also repost slop bullshit, like what young Bob did some stunt with I don't know if it was him who did it, but he seems to have been involved. Some stunt with a fucking van, and the fucking Rupert Lowe's account or Restore's account reposted it like it was good and stuff like this. It's really badly handled. Anyway, hand back to you guys.
I think that even if it's a young party, which this is, it's a young party, even if you think you're going to lose, I kind of think that the publicity is still a good thing. It's a campaign that you're getting probably more attention to people maybe that aren't as active in politics.
You don't want to be.
That is an argument.
You don't want to be like. You don't want to be like Advance in the Gorton and Denton one, where nobody gave a shit because nobody talked about them ever, and then they get 150 votes. I think.
Well, talking about Advance, did you notice? I saw on X earlier, like this morning for me, but this evening for you guys, that Ben Habib is now saying that Restore are racist.
Oh, he's back on that. He's saying that again.
Yeah, again.
I mean, Alex Phillips, right? Who's just an enemy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Why is he?
I mean, he's joining those ridiculous harpies. You know, those like those three
the ones who banged Nigel Farage. Yeah, the ones who've all banged Nigel Farage. Yeah,
and they're probably like riddled with.
Yeah, they're all Farage's ex-sluts, as far as I can work out.
Wait, sorry, this is Alex Phillips. Who's the other two?
Isabel Oakeshott, I think that's one, isn't it?
That's Tice's, yeah.
That's Tice's will be.
Yeah. And the other chick who appeared in her underwear on billboards all over Britain, I believe.
It's gross. I mean, they're just like, I mean,
guys, just while we're talking about this subject, all right. You remember that the Reform candidate at the Makerfield by-election, he got in trouble for saying something about Carol Vorderman, You know, the chicky babe who used to be on Countdown when I was a young man. So God knows how old she is now. But like, can I just say to people, if you're interested in Carol Vorderman, right? And I suggest you shouldn't be, but if you are, and when she was younger, she was reasonably cute. But if you go on do a Google,
She's 65 apparently.
Yeah, but if you do a Google search on her, Adamant, right, you can find pictures of her in every sexy kind of outfit you can possibly think of, like bikinis, tiny little short skirts, very low-cut dresses, you name it. And she has the cheek to turn around and slag off the Reform candidate for saying, oh, he made some sexual remark about me. She's done that her whole career. That was her career.
She still does it. Even as an old woman, she's still a slut.
Well, actually, you say she's always done it and she's still doing it. She used to be considered quite a prude, and I think if I remember rightly, there was like someone made a comment about her in a newspaper article where they said that they said something about her looks, and then she went out and sort of like got surgery and jazzed up her look quite a lot. By that point, I think she was already 50.
And she looks like a ghoul. She looks like one of those ghouls from Fallout now.
She got breast enlargement surgery and all this kind of stuff.
Something that you always support, by the way, Duke. That you always say that you support for women.
Aubrey, I am not against women getting breast enlargement surgery.
Just not when they're 65.
No, not when they're 65, but also not when they're going to go and slag some bloke off for sexualizing her. Do you see my point?
I stand corrected. Yes, I see your point.
Yeah, you should stand corrected.
Oh, for fuck's sake, God. Yeah. My God.
You need to just generally improve your attitude. You've been told off a few times already here. Yeah.
I know. I need to stay back at my table.
You
the back of the bar.
Yeah, you cannot come up to the bar. This is why we have these laws in place.
I know.
But yeah, no, but I mean, honestly, yeah, I'm not against chicks getting breast enlargement surgery. I mean, not when they're 65. What's the fucking point? But the point is, if you're going to do that, then don't slag a bloke off who sexualizes you. If you're also going to appear in bikini photographs all the time, you know. Listen. I realize that women don't understand hypocrisy, but it's there.
My God!
You know,
I totally did understand your point. I do understand the hypocrisy point. I'm just saying that you're like.
Carol would have liked it if Andy Burnham had said that. She'd have liked Andy Burnham saying that.
Yes, because she's a lefty liberal. Exactly right. Let me just point something out to Aubrey. Aubrey, the point I'm trying to make to you is, if you understood what I was saying, then why did you make the point you made?
Oh, for God's sakes, I'm not going to even say another word. And I did understand your point, and never mind. Just go. Keep going. Keep talking.
If you are 65 though, and you are going to do a bikini shot, then do get a boob job, right? And everything go all the way. I mean, make it worthwhile.
Well, it's a difficult one really, because I don't know what the audience. I mean, I'm guessing there's maybe like some niche audience of creeps, creeps online if that would be into that sort of stuff. But
they'd probably prefer the saggy though, wouldn't they? You know, if you're into the 65-year-old woman, they don't want that. They want it saggy.
People have got
but the studio we send them to for those shoots is called Dignitas.
So
it probably should be anyway.
Carol Vorderman attraction is like a paraphilia to be like categorized alongside, the other.
Yeah, it's like
they're like smelly feet and like armpit fetishes and stuff.
Yeah, guys, let's remember what Carol Vorderman's original job was putting up letters on a board for a quiz show, right?
And a few cheeky innuendos of a certain.
But the way she became famous, was for wearing short skirts and scanty outfits while she did so. That's what made her career. You know,
Well,
Trish.
she
used to
wasn't in
sometimes-
politics at that time, so there is kind of a bit of a
Well, she's
distinction
not
there.
in politics now. You know,
She's just an opinionated gobshite.
yeah.
She,
exactly.
I used to
Like every British celebrity.
Yeah.
I used to watch Countdown sometimes back in the 90s, like if I got home from school early or whatever, and it was like
Exactly.
She wasn't sexy though. I never thought she was at all sexy. She was just the
Oh
woman.
no,
who did the numbers.
I thought she was pretty cute back in the day, but I mean, you know, like
I mean,
35 years ago, for fuck's sake, you know.
She's better than Rachel
she
Riley
can't-
if the same age. Like, controversial. Sorry, move on.
She kind of has the same like like dead eye stare as Bonnie Blue. I've just noticed, like the younger version of her.
Something
No,
missing.
no, come on. I'm not even going to have that AI. No one is as bad as Bonnie Blue. Bonnie Blue is ugly, I've got to say. She is.
Well, hang on, which one looks older? Bonnie Blue or Carol Vorderman?
Probably Bonnie Blue because of how many COCKs she's had up her. I mean, you know.
Someone said she was
1,000.
27.
She is, yeah.
Yeah,
She is
Yeah.
27. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
depressing.
37 and she looks about 50, but you know, okay.
No, she's 27, Duke.
27.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'll be
Yeah.
honest, right? I'm in my very early 60s and I wouldn't look at Bonnie Blue. But I mean, also, you know,
Her
how
mom
many-
is her
how many-
manager.
how many? Yeah, exactly. Her
So,
mum
what do
is
you
her
think her
manager.
life has been like? I mean,
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
defending the girl, but I'm just saying, like, there's probably some serious psychological damage there. Her mom is managing her having all of these COCK
So
essays.
her mum is a pimp, basically.
Right. So, you know,
I had a
you're going to be a little
conversation
bit
about
messed
her
up.
with someone. I think it was Daughter of Albion a long time ago. I'm sure she said that Bonnie Blue was married to someone prior, and then she broke
Bonnie
up and
Blue
left
was,
them, and,
yeah. She was married
and
in
then went off
Australia.
and
Was it
Yeah.
Mr. Blue from Reservoir Dogs?
Yeah, no, it wasn't. No, but she was married. But I think she's with a cuck a lot of the time. I mean, you know.
I don't know about her. I know the other one, Lily Phillips. She's got this cuck, who's her boyfriend.
I don't know who's worse, the cuck or the girl. You know?
Well, I mean, is she just paying him to pretend to be her boyfriend? Because apparently, this guy, he's like known OnlyFans models, sort of, or something for a while. This boyfriend. So some people think he's just a paid performer, really.
No idea. I think the whole thing is pathetic. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, there was a time when, yeah, a woman could be a whore, but, you know, she was a whore and that was it. She wasn't a celebrity. But whatever. But we're supposed to be talking about the by-election and
Yes,
not loose women. Like,
I mean,
Aubrey is distracting us, I think.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so
I think
Duke,
so.
I assume I did produce a video, and I did I went over the by-election and sort of how I thought it went. I think ultimately the problem that you got was an allocation of it was messaging, but also resources. So, from my understanding, I think the number of volunteers that they had down there was upward of 1,000, possibly even up to 1,000, maybe even 2,000 people of continuous people going
over the time, over the whole thing. I bet it was closer to 2,000 easily.
Yeah, and the thing there is, the reason we know that is both internally through people in Reform. There was one chap in Reform who was saying, and I saw this on a Facebook chat group. He said there were many more Restore canvassers than there were Reform, and probably even equaling the number of Labour. But the problem is because so I think the reason they managed to even retain their deposit, i.e. not fall below 5%, was probably just the sheer number, because there was just a there was a very visible presence of Restore and Rupert Lowe and everyone there. I think it's a combination of the candidate was poor, when everyone was talking about Restore, it was about Rupert Lowe, and the candidate, what was her name, Rebecca Shepherd or something like that.
Mhm.
She was just I don't think I heard her like do an interview with some British YouTube channel, this black Indian guy, and she just was going like, oh yeah, immigration is bad because it affects the British culture, and it was very much like, I mean, yeah, I agree, but it's not.
Is that Vox Populi
Yeah.
AI?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Vox Populi. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah, and I agree in sentiment. It's just it's it's not on like on the level that probably it should be. Like when you've been watching that Frank chap, who's been doing the rounds or something like that. It's
Mhm.
and I think the candidate selection was very someone said very unimpressive. Yeah, I mean that's how I felt with it. And also the planning on the ground, and I did point out during the campaign, like, look,
It
you've
was
got
really rushed, AI.
it was
They announced they were going to run. What was it? 3 weeks before the campaigning started, I think, or 2
Yeah.
weeks,
yeah.
something like that.
I was shocked that there wasn't messaging, because the problem that you got is Labour, Burnham, in that seat, he could justifiably say, vote for me to kick Starmer out, and
Mm.
Reform fell into that trap of get Starmer out, and they fell into that trap, which benefits Burnham. Now, you're limited in what you can say about Starmer because Burnham holds the cards when it comes to that particular narrative. The only thing that Restore could have done is said, listen, Reform is full of all those particular ex-Tories who flooded this country with millions of Africans and Asians during the Boris Johnson years. That is something that they could have, and I think should have. They should have deliberately, probably not even attacked Farage so much, but attacked
Generic
Generic.
AI.
Yeah,
Generic. He was the main person responsible for bringing in tens of thousands of Afghans into Britain.
yeah.
Main
Many of
person.
and many of them have gone on to rape and kill and attempted to kill and everything else. You've got Suella Braverman, you've got all these other hosts of characters who joined Reform. That should have been Restore's attack line, saying Farage can't be trusted because the team he surrounded himself with are the people who have
Mhm.
flooded our country full of violent rapists and criminals, and who seek to demographically replace. Now that is that because they've already gone down demographic replacement line. That would have been a very radical statement that may have even got themselves in a bit of hot water, but you know that is the sort of election campaigning that the BNP did back in the day. It's confrontational. It would be very controversial, and as Aubrey said, they would have negative publicity, but because of it, but at the same time, it gets them out there. And I just feel that they played far too safe. They were going, oh yes, and Rupert was saying, yeah, there's not enough opportunities, business opportunities, economic. It's like, yeah, that's true, but really, the country is calling it. It is in absolute fit of despair with what's happened over the last 5 to 6 years, in particular, with this sort of great flood of foreign nationals, and the people who directly caused it and also promoted it and defended it on social media, because we still got receipts from likes of Generic and Co.
They're all high ups in
Reform. Yeah,
Reform
yeah.
UK.
Notice that, like all of that lot, none of them were asked to go down to Makerfield. Like
Yeah,
Generic wasn't down there because they know, oh yeah, this is just too toxic for them.
yeah, exactly.
Guys, listen. When AI has finished his bit, I'm going to ask Atman, because if I know Atman, at some point he's going to have to go to bed, and also he's on his phone, so it might run out. But Tharium, I'll come to you after Adam, if that's all right. But AI, you finish.
Yeah, so that's how I would have. I mean, that's the sort of attack line that I would have gone on the campaigning side. And I mean, I said also something that's a bit controversial. I also think too much was given to the Lotus Eaters, and look, they're really good guys. They produce really good economic and history and philosophy content, which is generally interesting, and it's stuff I do watch. But the problem is, you know, and this is where the left used to make. This is where a lot of the progressive left and the wokey types would make mistakes, and why ultimately they ended up losing a lot of people, is because they, you know, the assumption they have experience in one sector means that they'd be good in another. It is sort of their own undoing, and I don't think a lot of those Lotus Eater guys had that experience enough to basically do that sort of style of I mean, because they were, let's be honest, if they were campaigning online heavily, and I think,
AI. Listen, I one guy who's not here this evening who I wish is Mitch, and I said on the Discord, which you guys may or may not have seen, that sometimes I despair of Carl Benjamin, and Mitch just said sometimes, and I said, yeah, fair point, you know, because it's true.
Yeah, I mean, I said in the on our Discord that Carl put out a post where he talked about some the reason why Burnham won was because of some working man feudalism, and I won't say what I responded, but basically it was I just viewed it as just a total whiffle waffle nonsense, and ultimately, ultimately, and I hate to say it, people like the people like us are relatively clued in with what's going on. The vast majority of people don't watch the Lotus Eaters. They don't read our Substack posts. Don't watch the likes of this stream. They don't engage. Probably maybe on Facebook every now and then. Most of their content they receive is still online, and so their perception of what's wrong. And we see the Belfast, we see the Henry Novak stuff, but for them, all that, the way that played out was probably in the compilation of BBC, Sky, and probably even the odd GB News report. And that's a reality we have to sort of face, is that most people, their version of Britain, the way that they see Britain now, is different from how we view Britain, and that's the and I think that's one of the problems as well. And for many people with Reform and Restore, I see, and this was said. I know this was said on the campaign, and it was even said on the night. Is they just view it as the reason why the Restore even exists is because of a spat between Farage. Now we know why it exists, what happened, and everything, but it's very much viewed as a spat. And I've said this before. Rupert Lowe should now stop. He should have stopped months ago. Banging on about I know Farage tried to have him locked up and all that crap, but at the same time, you need to now move on from that.
Yeah, nobody really cares about that. Like, yeah, I mean, I agree, it was awful. I mean, that's what really killed Reform for me. But I don't care. No one cares about that, really. I also do think, like you're saying, about people seeing things our way. I mean, Makerfield is one of these like hopelessly Labour places that still has that sort of, my grandfather voted Labour, so I vote Labour. It's a bit of a holdout for that.
It is. I'm going to have to head off now, guys, but because I'm working tomorrow and I sort of need to head off. But I just want to say, thanks for having me on for this. But I wanted to talk about that, and I've read, but I have read the report, and I'll do a separate video another time. But yeah, I would say I've on how I thought that was, but that requires quite a lengthy breakdown, I think, for my part to go through.
Thanks for joining us, AI. It's kind of you. I know you're a working chap and you have to get up early. So yeah, thanks for joining.
See you all, guys.
Just to say, raw biscuits. You were saying I was making all of the old man noises. No, I wasn't. What really happened is I've got a remote mouse that needs a battery and it ran out. That was why I was changing. So there you go. All right. I was serious.
What the fuck?
Yeah, no, I've got a mouse that you have to put a battery in. It's not.
Oh, the mouse. Sorry.
Yeah, mouse.
I thought you said mouth. Sorry, I was like,
no, mouse.
Okay, cool.
And the battery ran out, so I had to go and change it. All right, I'm going to ask Adaman next because, like I said, I know Adaman sometimes has to go to bed, and also I know he's on his phone and not a computer. Adaman, what's your take on the by-election stuff?
Yeah, I'm a bit worried about my internet dropping out, but generally, I haven't really been that clued in on it because I've been away, but I'm not really that worried either way. I think, I don't think a lot of people are like, oh, there's big lessons to learn. I mean, that's part of the benefit of running in this. I was kind of against them running to begin with, but now, soon after I was like, yeah, I'm not too worried actually. And it's like, yeah, so they're like, oh, you're going to humiliate yourself. It's like, what, who, to people who would never vote for us anyway? Like, who cares? Meanwhile, we've got to like...
If it had been the 1% like Farage has been saying for ages now, that would have been bad, but, we were well above that.
That was my view. If Restore got less than 5%, I would have thought, yeah, that was a big mistake, boys. But, 7%, that's not terrible after only 2 or 3 months.
It's very good after 2 months.
Yeah. And they beat the Conservatives.
Yeah.
They beat the so-called Greens and they beat the Lib Dems. So, I mean,
And you don't just jump in once you become a big party. I mean, this is a party that has gotten a lot of movement very quickly, very early on. And I think that the publicity is good. It's to AI's point, a lot of people don't watch TV and keep clued in with politics, and they are, sadly, some of them shouldn't be voting, but they are allowed to vote.
I think a lot of them do watch TV, and that's their problem, actually. But
well, that too, and so that's why I think that the local elections, when you get a chance to get people out there and talking in the smaller areas where maybe you might not be as popular, I think it still gets your face out there and your movement out there in front of people that may not pay attention because they are watching those other media channels. And publicity is, they always say it's good publicity is bad publicity is good publicity too.
Sometimes.
That's not what they say.
Yeah, Franz 115 is saying it's a year, not 2 months. No, it's not.
He's referring to the fact that Restore have existed as a group.
Yeah,
like
I know that.
It does feel like they've lost some of that initial momentum that they had. But that seems to peter off a bit soon.
Yeah, that's but they've only been a political party for, I don't know, 12 weeks. Something.
There was a lot of people who they weren't really interested in the movement thing because that's not going to do anything. And then as soon as they was announced as a party, that's when they jumped on. So there is
I think even those low numbers though show, I mean, again, because this is such an early movement and party, I guess I should say. I think that even those low numbers though still show that it's a competitive movement that's making something of itself. I don't see a problem with it. I really don't. Because what do people expect? I mean, people can't expect that you're going to go into an area that is typically what we would say over here would be like a blue area. and just dominate, all of a sudden you're not going to, but you start getting your word out there.
Well, the thing is as well, I mean, I made this comment a while back and people didn't really, well, some people didn't really like it, is that like vote splitting was a myth, and like vote splitting only ever really happens if people perceive the election to not be that important. Clearly people in Makerfield, as much as everyone's pretending they're all switched off, clearly they did see it as an important election because, as I said earlier, the Greens got 0.7% of votes, which is nothing. Clearly, the thing is as well, Labour had a bit of an advantage because they were essentially hoovering up both the Labour vote and the anti-Starmer vote because people saw a vote for.
Labour's was like in the unique position of being the anti-Labour party. So you vote Labour to get rid of Labour. It's quite a unique position, really.
I
think
it's bullshit, of course, because this dude, even if he wins the Labour leadership election, which of course he hasn't yet, but even if he does,
probably will though.
Well, more than likely. But I think a big split in the Labour Party is great. I want the Labour Party to be fighting to the death.
I can see Andy Burnham winning and becoming the Labour Party. That'll be.
He won't change.
No, exactly. That's what I mean. So a lot of currently the old Labour loyalists, they kind of have this hope at the moment that it's just all Starmer. It's not the party, it's not the system, it's just Starmer. And if we just, you know what I mean? And they're thinking, if we just get rid of Starmer, everything will work again. And so they're going to get Burnham, and it's all going to be the same shit. And that's going to be like, it's going to be like the Tory voters after we go through.
Well, this is sort of nightmare scenario. I mean, nightmare's overplaying it. It's not going to be like horrific, but it would be bad. Is that Burnham comes in, wins a leadership bid, or just becomes the leader by whichever mechanism, and then calls a snap election.
I don't think he will. I don't see.
I hope he does, because Labour won't win. But,
I mean,
Well, no, this is the thing that would be Labour's best chance to win. Like if he's coming in off of the back of all this optimism.
Adam, but you've got to. Right? Yes. If Labour wanted any chance of winning at all, Burnham would call an election as soon as he became leader. But he won't do that.
Yeah, the way I view that, I think this is just reform scaremongering, basically, because it's like he's still got 3 years. It's not like the next election has to be a year away, so he's still got a lot of time. And also, if he calls an election now, he's going to have less seats.
Nothing's going to get better.
But even if even if he won, even if Labour wins this snap election, it will be with less seats. So Burnham would have just given himself a weaker hand for 2 years. It's not really worth it.
I don't think Labour would even win a snap election, to be honest with you. I think you'd end up with a reform conservative coalition, but whatever.
The thing is that everyone wants to get that high on a huff of like the 90s and the early noughties optimism. And Burnham is the regime's best mechanism for giving people that last little fix. You know, like what is it? Cunningly Drucker calls them like the Pink Panteras and all those sorts of people.
If they're morons, and I would say, but yeah, all right.
Well, I mean, moron or not, it's just there are mechanisms in society that lead people like you know, people that live in these places like you know, outside of North London or the Cotswolds or wherever it is, where they have this sort of they still live in the vestiges of Britain as a country, and that allows them to sort of pretend that what people say about Leicester and Leeds and Sheffield and various other places isn't really true. And then on the other hand, you've got
your daughters won't be trafficked by a rape gang in all those.
Well, they don't see any of that. They don't see any of that. They simply think that that's like the mad, loony, you know, ragings of people on the internet. They literally have no concept of that happening anywhere near.
Even though it's true, though, Armin, you know.
But they don't know they don't think it's true. They think we're all just deranged liars, trying to grasp the power because we're all.
Yeah, because they watch mainstream media television and read.
But they don't need to watch mainstream media. This is the thing; they just don't see
not
any of
around
it. They
them,
don't
yeah.
see any of it. It's like the thing is, the things we talk about on here would sound insane to like at least a third of the country.
If they were on X or even Blue Sky or something, and something that treated the rape gangs as fact came up in their feed, they would unfollow it or block it or whatever to make it not appear in their feed.
Yeah.
Likewise, with any news, if they use Google News Selector or whatever, or anything like that, anything that brings that to them, they'll block it off so that they don't hear about it. Because they just think that's Tommy Robinson. Or they just like I've literally had people. I've mentioned to people about that. I did. I've just mentioned the rape gangs as a real thing, and like a friend of mine, he doesn't talk to me anymore, but he just went, "You sound like Tommy Robinson," and that's all he could say about it. That's like, he couldn't think beyond that.
And the funny thing is, of course, that Tommy Robinson is a paid-up Zionist shill. But I mean, all right, okay.
And he's not even for deporting just Muslims, let alone everyone else.
If a Muslim waves a Union Jack, Tommy Robinson loves it.
Yeah.
Just have to not be.
Go look up Quilliam Tharium. You probably know about Quilliam anyway. But go look up Quilliam. Tommy Robinson's great mates with Quilliam.
But the thing is that like people do these things because they do them like a shit test, don't they? Well, there was this funny conversation in my office where I was working a couple of weeks back, and we were talking about Brian Blessed, and someone was like, "Oh, doesn't he believe in the Yetis?" And and all those people in the office were like, "Oh, well," and there was one person in particular was like, "Well, that's fine. Yeah, maybe Yetis exist." And there was two people in particular that were getting like really aggressive about it, and they're like, "No, they don't exist." And it's like, and you see this with conversations on like evolution as well. Like,
but he never did believe in those, Alman, as far as I know.
I don't know.
No.
And who cares? Who cares? It's not relevant anyway. That's the point.
What Brian Blessed was into, and he was an excellent actor. He was into Mallory, the guy who may have climbed Everest before Sir Edmund Hillary.
Yeah, who most definitely did, but died on the way down.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that was Brian Blessed's thing. He didn't give a shit about Yetis.
Wow.
We should do a stream about Mallory at some point. But
for sure, mate.
Yeah, but it's like you get this with evolution as well. Like people will use like, "Oh, you don't believe in evolution," or "Tell me you believe in evolution." It's like a shit test. And it's like if you push them for even 5 seconds, they don't really believe in evolution, right? Because the idea of like genuine survival of the fittest is horrifying to them.
Yeah, but Adam, the out of Africa thing, right, is being destroyed these days. Totally, right? It's really being destroyed. And it's the one thing no lefty will accept, because we all have to be Africans,
They do. They need that.
Yeah.
They do rely on that.
Yeah.
It's like if you're a shitlib, that should be the least important thing ever. If you actually believe in your worldview for the reasons you state, then the out of Africa theory should just be the least important thing that you could ever think of.
But it's the most important thing to those guys.
Yeah, because ultimately they just hate white people, including themselves.
Of course. Yeah. Well, I mean, unless they are of a certain religious faith.
Those
said white. He said white.
A small Middle Eastern country. But yes, indeed.
To relate that back to the grooming scandal thing, I read this book in the late 90s that someone gave me. It was called Fiona's Story, and it was not to do with Pakistani gangs, but about a Jamaican. Well, he turned out to be a pimp, but he was her boyfriend when she was like pretty underage, like 14, 15, something like that, mid-teens. And this like Jamaican man convinced her that anyway, groomed her and got her into prostitution, basically. But part of the grooming process in her case was that he convinced her that she was, that not only that whites were evil, but she was black, like that we're all black, And there's just some people have turned white, lamentably, but we're all.
I want my reparations. I want my reparations.
And so she started having dreadlocks and stuff, and then he got her into heroin. And then he pimped her out to like the first or second customer he pimped her out to murdered her. This is almost unknown story in the 90s, but yeah.
Was it real?
I mean, sadly, that's what's happening in so many areas in America. And you've got these white girls that it's kind of like a trophy for these, black guys to go after these young white girls. And they say that. I mean, that's their words actually. And then these white girls, they fall into this thing where they start doing like the dreadlocks, the self-hatred of people that are, their own race. Actually, they won't talk to their families anymore. They, it's crazy. They all have 5 black babies with
Turning
all
people
different
against-
fathers. It's insane.
Convincing people that their families are evil is both part
Right.
of grooming protests and obviously like cults as well.
Cults.
Like that as well, right? Yeah, it's the same. It's happening to the same thing in the Pakistani rape gangs. It's convince them that the parents are racist. That's why they're objecting to you being my girlfriend. That's what they say.
Mhm.
Right? It's
And that's what these
sick.
black
It's
guys
so
do
sick.
too. It's wait, I love you, baby, I love you, and then they get them hooked
Nobody
on,
else.
like you said, heroin, and then they pimp them
I
out.
love you,
How
but
do
I
you
want you to fuck
fuck
every
it?
single
Right,
other dude.
right.
Nobody
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
Nobody else really loves you. I do. Right. I'm
Right.
your
And it's
protector.
such a breakdown of their self-worth, and yeah.
It's shocking. Fiona Iverson, Tharium was she's a real girl. Yeah. Fiona Iverson. There's a book about it called Fiona's Story, but
Guys,
nobody's read it.
Just
guys.
to loop this back to the Makerfield thing, has anyone actually read this Restore Grooming Gang Inquiry release yet?
Not all of it.
Yeah.
I've read some of it.
I've read it. Yeah,
It's horrific.
I haven't read it,
It is horrific.
but I did see some of the criticisms of it.
Some of them look credible.
We're gonna talk about those, Adam, in a sec. Before we do, I have to do some channel admin. Guys, listen. I'm a retired dude on a fixed income. I can't support this channel on my own. I do 2 streams a week, 8 streams a month, and I'm spending $200 a month, basically, a bit more than that, actually. So if you like this channel and you want it to continue, please support us. You can do so via Subscribe Star. It costs $5 a month, which is $1.
Yeah, he's a single dad, so think about helping him out.
Well, I'm not a single dad, actually.
You are. It's just your son's a grown adult living on the other side of the world, but
exactly. Well, I was going to say I am a dad, but yeah.
You got the dogs.
But my son is not dependent on me at all.
Don't let them know that.
It was a joke. It was a joke.
He's a Royal Navy officer. He's certainly not dependent on me.
It was a joke.
Aubrey.
Oh, please tell me. Go ahead.
I don't need you to tell me what's a joke. All right.
I don't. I of course.
Really, I don't.
Keep your mouth
if you don't
shut.
mind, I'm going to drop out. Okay. Thanks for having me.
Hold on, Horace. One thing.
Horace, I was hoping you'd have something to say about the rape gang report, but whatever.
Well, if I go first, I'll be quick. But yeah,
all right. I just wanted to.
You can go first. Yes.
I wanted to mention something, Horace. I've heard you on AA's stream mention good criticisms from Harrion Gladive. Harrian's full of shit. Everything he says is full of shit. I wouldn't put any. Everything he says is like twisted and dishonest.
He's a detestable bastard. Horace is my honest opinion of it.
I remember what I said that about. It was a podcast he did where, like, when I thought about it after having said that, it was like, yeah, he's doing the thing of people tell him rumors and he reports it as facts, maybe mixed with some truth.
Yeah.
But that is, like I sort of was a bit credulous there. It's because I'm ready to hear it because I am critical of Restore. I think they're fucking up in some ways. And he was saying the right sort of things. And I want to know who it is that is running that account. Running those accounts really cheesily and embarrassingly.
I mean, I feel like although those attacks of Rupert not really running his Twitter account, that's all bullshit coming from a reformed source. Because hold on, because he won't, because Farage and Yusuf and stuff, they're not running their accounts either. But he'll never complain about that.
Guys, listen. If you two want to argue about
we're on the same side.
No. If
Yeah.
you want to argue about who's running what in Restore, do it somewhere else. All I want to do is my channel admin, and then I'm going to get Horace to talk about the Rape Gang report because he wants to go soon. So anyway, guys, please support the channel. Like the stream, it really helps. Do subscribe, of course. And go sign up for Subscribe Star. It will cost you $5 a month. And if I don't get more than the 3 subscribers I've got at the moment, I've got a severe problem coming up fairly soon. Anyway, forgetting all of that, Horace, what did you think about the Restore Britain Rape Gang report?
Unfortunately, I can only really say what I've seen people saying about it because I haven't read it yet. But I saw that Adam Wren, who is definitely on the right side of all this, you know, like I don't know if he's right about every matter, but he's definitely on the right side of this cause, you know, exposing all this and getting the proper, you know, in his case, court transcripts out. But he had some criticism saying they've arrived at numbers by really basic extrapolation. That was one thing. And I don't know, some of his thread maybe made sense, but there was also that Donna Edmonds was talking about it, and she obviously made herself a million new enemies so all in one go by showing herself laughing. But what she said, like that they've included the mention of trafficking people across county lines. If it does say that, that is cringeworthily wrong. Like, what are you talking about?
It's meaningless in Britain.
Yeah, like that's going back to like the Carl Rittenhouse thing or something.
Yeah, it's someone who thinks it's a big deal because if you traffic someone across state lines in America, that makes it a federal crime. But Britain doesn't have anything like that. So it's not.
Well, hang on. We do.
All they were trying to do, they were trying to say that these poor white girls, and they were overwhelmingly white girls, were being trafficked from one city to another all over the country. That's all they were trying to say, but they put it.
Yeah, and that has legal precedence, though. That's in the Modern Slavery Act. That is classed as trafficking.
Oh, okay.
Because that was brought into county lines gangs.
Did you see what that Donna woman changed her profile picture to?
No.
It was her as the Happy Merchant meme. Somebody had made the Happy Merchant meme into her, and she actually changed her profile picture to that. Just like,
why not? Just take it on.
This is me.
Atom, and I didn't know that. Maybe they are more justified in saying that. Then I didn't know that. But, I mean, like they should at least. I mean, I hope they've mentioned that was the reason for mentioning that, because otherwise it does sound ridiculous.
They should. I don't know if they do, but yeah.
And also they included these philosophical quotes on the cover page or whatever, and like things like that.
Both of which were shit. Both of which
just stupid, irrelevant stuff.
Yeah,
and one of them wasn't
really
even a real
silly
quote and stuff. And like it's like, well, who's composed this and why have they done it like that? Like I am good at writing. I could compose this if like I can offer my services to them or something. I don't know if they won't know who I am, but I mean, like you can get people to write properly.
Can we say, Horace, why you're still
as with his social media accounts, you can get something to do.
Horace,
I can do that. Like,
Horace, can we say why you're still here? And I strongly suspect this is the truth. They rushed that report to release it before the by-election.
Right. Yeah.
Which also meant it didn't make as much of an impact as it should have, because everyone was just going on about this shitty by-election, right? They should have left it until afterwards.
Yeah,
they rushed it.
So that in itself raises questions. It's like, who decided who was going to write this thing, and then who wrote it? You know, who's like overseeing it quality-wise? You know, like who decided that it should be rushed out if they did. Like, who decides all these things? Is it coming directly down from low, or is it all coming via that guy who people like Harry and Gladiv say is in charge?
It's not all coming from. It's not all coming from.
Well, I know the writing was apparently done by a lawyer, and they just sort
of. Is that Michael Rainier? Is that Michael?
I'm not sure which one.
He's a lawyer who's offered his services around and stuff. Like, if so, I mean, I respect some things he's written, but he's quite wacky as well. I don't know if it's him anyway, but like, I mean, a lawyer can be still crackers, or a little bit shit at writing. Or
can I just say, guys, like, I have read all this report, and it is a harrowing read. It really is. But the girls talking about what happened to them, that is brilliant. It's not brilliant. It's evil and vile, but it's necessary. It's truthful. But the conclusions and many of the other things in it are shit. They're not well organized. They're not well written, and the personal testimony of the victims is fabulous in the sense of, I mean, it's not fabulous.
It's horrific.
It's one of the worst, probably the worst thing I've ever read. But but it is authentic. But everything else around it is second rate, and that is a shame, in my opinion.
You get numbed, I think, to hearing about, like, okay, sexual assault, gang rapes, things like that. But the details that were shared were so specifically horrific. And they were things that I've never heard of happening, despite being very focused on crime stories and things like that. And so it was very effective, that part of it.
Just if you don't mind, I'm going to jump off. I'll just say that Adam Wren guy who's on Twitter, he's done work to try and get the court transcripts out. That can only add to what we're getting from hearing from all these victims and stuff. So I just think those two things should complement each other. People testimonies, victim testimonies, and the court transcripts, and just drive up both of those things, and that will help the whole cause, I think. So,
agreed.
So, cheers, everyone. Thanks for having me, and take care, everyone. See you soon.
I'll just say thank you, Horus, for joining us. Go and check out Infinite Horus on X, on Twitter. He's good.
Good night.
Yeah, go on, mate. Thank you for coming on. Look, we've lost Atman as well. Listen, if you read the report, the witness testimony is harrowing. Is the only way to describe it. But the other stuff is not very well done.
I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of nitpicking at the moment, which is kind of just, it's missing the point, really. It's like the numbers stuff.
Farium, tell me they didn't rush it to get it out before this fucking by-election.
Probably, but it's like, I think their thinking there was, okay, we get some attention, and then that can drive more attention to this. That'd be my guess.
Whereas what actually happened was, it meant releasing the report got very little attention at all, because all the mainstream media are interested in was they were never going to be interested. They were never going to be interested. No, of course not. But if it had been released in a vacuum, without that fucking by-election, it would have got more publicity, I think. But
I don't know. I mean, like, it did give Rupert a chance to say when the TV came and interviewed him during the results. It did give him a chance to say, "Well, we just published this. Have any of you read it?" To all the journalists.
Yeah, all right.
Get that on the television a bit.
All right.
Yeah,
not convinced.
For the Makerfield stuff for me, though, going back to that a bit, I do wonder what position Reform are going to take from this, what lessons they're going to learn. because I feel like it's going to be, we need to go more left wing. They're going to, because reform always take the wrong lesson from everything, right? Because recently,
Sure.
they've been scared of reform, restore, and they sort of recently they started talking a bit more right wing about stuff. You've seen Farage and stuff, and going into Makerfield, they were the favourite, but they reform underperformed badly.
Well, they didn't even fight against Labour. They spent all their time fighting against Restore UK.
Yeah, but they were the favourite, and they underperformed quite badly. And I have a feeling people in reform are going to look at this and go, right, look at how Restore got 7% and Andy Burnham got 54%. We need to go more left wing. All this new rhetoric about two-tier policing and stuff, nobody likes that.
More left wing.
Yeah, that's what reform will do. Reform.
Oh, yeah, all right, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's the lesson they're going to take from that. Not thinking like, this is Makerfield. This has always been Labour. Of course, it's a left wing area. Of course, like the more right wing party didn't win. Because I heard the rumor that, well, there's that new rumor going around that people are calling for Mohammed Yusuf to be sacked because he's a bit more forthright in what he says. Of course, we know it's all bullshit, but the point is he's saying that stuff, and they want him sacked now. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, though, back to Restore, though, these are the lessons that every party is going to have to go through. It's good we get them out, get them done now, learn these lessons, go through all these problems, figure out what does and doesn't work. Because no plan is really going to, no plan survives contact with the enemy, really. You need to get the troops out, experience all the actual campaigning. And I feel like because they want to stand in the Manchester mayoral election, because there's no chance that Restore will win it. But like we're saying, we just need we don't need to focus on winning it. I think just get a good candidate out there who can talk well, and that will drive more publicity. I think that's the best course for them. Hello?
I'm here still. Duke,
Okay.
Are you here? I don't know what's going on. Keep talking, Therium. Keep going. Did you read the reports, though, about the girls in particular? About those
I've read through some of it. I haven't been through it all, but one of the things with that I feel is a bit... one of the things that is spread more light on than before was the involvement of the police and the authorities in this.
Right.
Which we've sort of known, but this, I feel this went into that more. And just how complicit all the police and these care homes were.
Right. Because it was kind of implied, but yeah, finding out just how widespread this was and for how long, is horrifying. And yeah, that was the thing I wanted to talk about. Kind of was I was just kind of looking into the long-term effects of what actually happens to girls who go through such horrific sexual abuse like this, and brainwashing. Because I don't think we really have an understanding of that generally. And they were, what I found was not only are you dealing with the repercussions of gang rape, of course, but then you're also talking about your whole structure of trust of society, like the police, the people that are supposed to look out for you. I mean, imagine what that does to your like fragile view of trust in the world as a kid. You're a kid still.
Yeah, and a lot of these girls were from, they were in care because their own families were
broken,
all sorts of fucked up.
Right.
And so then, because we had the accounts of like the police, like they go to the police and the police take them back to the rapists.
Sick. It's
like
so
one of
sick.
them, one of the testimonies was like, the police took them back and told them to the rapist, "Oh, have fun with her."
I mean,
Well,
you absolutely, those cops need to be prosecuted.
Yeah.
To the same extent, in my opinion, because they should be
Yeah.
held to a higher standard. So
Yeah, no names were mentioned in the report because they want to go after private prosecutions of stuff. So that was why names were left out of people involved.
mhm.
But yeah, this is something that really needs to happen. All these people,
Right,
just
right,
like that, and the care homes where they like just bring the girls out, line them up like a slave market.
right. I mean, that's a pimp right there. That's a whorehouse that you're running with children.
Yeah.
That aren't there because they really want to be. They're there because they were lured in or taken or whatever. But yeah, like when I was looking into it, of course, again, we kind of know the general things that they're gonna deal with, but this is such a lifelong thing. Like, I don't know how you recover from some of the things they were talking about. Some of these poor girls, what they went through. Physically, they're scarred, but emotionally too, they're scarred so deeply. And
Yeah.
this may make it impossible for them to ever have a true relationship,
sure,
a
yeah.
marriage, that they can really, feel trust and intimacy.
Yeah, because it wasn't just one attack; it's years
Mhm.
of abuse for most of these girls.
Right. Right. And like some of them, I mean, it was multiple men for hours and days and weeks. And I was just thinking about, my God, I was trying to imagine if for myself being in that situation. And then I thought, okay, now imagine you at 13. And I just, I think we become numb to stories that we hear because there is so much crime and horrible stuff that happens in the world. But when you sit back and actually read it and put yourself in this situation, or think of your daughter or your granddaughter or niece or whatever, it just, you have to do that, I think, to really get in that mindset and think about what they're going through. And the other thing too was, then I was looking into their, one of the other things they deal with then is a lot of times when you're victimized sexually like that as a young child, a young girl, then you not only have problems with intimacy, but you go the other way into promiscuity.
Sometimes, yeah.
This happens to a lot of girls. Yeah, not always, of course, not always. But this happens to a lot of those girls. So looking into that further, it's because their self-worth has been so degraded, and they don't feel like they're worthy of anything, and it's almost a self-punishment that continues.
Mhm.
So it was a sad deep dive kind of into what they deal with. But
Well, yeah, some of these girls were called pig dogs and all sorts, because Muslims don't like pigs and they don't like dogs, whereas I think your average dog is worth 10 Muslims. But there we go. That's just me.
all of them.
Yeah.
Well, and they were
But,
saying, "Where's your God now?" Which is one of the sickest things.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Where's your
Exactly.
God now as they're being, raped, and I
But
just the cruelty.
all of it totally ignored by the authorities, by the councils, by the social workers, by the children's homes.
Well, like
by the
Therium
lo-
just said, not
yeah,
even
by the-
ignored.
all of it. Yeah.
Well, what we were saying while you were away was how one of the new sort of things that stood out more that we haven't heard in these testimonies is just how involved the police and the care homes were.
Oh yeah.
We've heard about all like the horrors and stuff that they're in the attacks, but yeah, just the care homes that just treated them like a slave market.
Right.
Well, not only that, Perium. Many of these police, of course, were Muslims themselves. I mean, I'm sure some of them were white dudes, but quite a lot of Muslim cops were involved in this. And I'm sorry I was away for 4 minutes or so. It was because my neighbor wants me to cut my lemon tree down. We have possums in our roof, which are very cute Australian marsupial animals. And I just told my neighbor to go and get fucked. I'm not cutting down my lemon tree. And I like the possums in my roof. So
God.
anyway, that's what was happening. Sorry. Listen, I'm
Do
not
you-
a professional broadcaster, you know.
Do you think that those cops that they were getting kickbacks too? I'm sure.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you
Well,
imagine?
I think many of them were related to the families that were doing the sexual abuse.
Right.
Many
And you
of
know, those women, like the women, the wives of these Muslim men, that damn well they know what's going on too.
Of
And
course they
they
do. Yeah, of
view
course
these
they
white
do.
girls as I mean, they look down on them and spit
they
on them. and-
regard them they regard them as Christians come, basically.
right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, and it's more than that, because once they have been raped, even just once, then they're just unsullied, unclean. They're
Right.
just unclean and just awful. And so, yeah, for like the Muslim men, like once they have raped a girl, then
Listen,
that's all she is.
have
She's just a
heard
prostitute.
Right, right.
Tharium, I have seen Americans in particular turn around and say, "Oh, there can't be any men in Britain," right?
No.
But you know what? There were British dads and British brothers who went to try and rescue their girls, and the British police arrested them and left the poor little girls, some of whom were as young as 11, in the hands of their Muslim rapists.
Yeah, it's like the NHS dealing with like 12-year-olds with all these STIs and stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
and they just don't question that.
No.
She's
Yeah.
12.
Yeah. Like
Just give them some
these,
antibiotics. There you go. Off you go.
these girls were failed in so many ways. And like you said, Therium, I mean, a lot of them were just born into situations that right off the bat weren't fair anyway.
The vast majority of these girls, Aubrey, came from single mother families,
Or not
That's
even
not a
that.
coincidence.
Not even that.
or from children's homes.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. And that's not a coincidence. I mean, that's what these
course
people
not,
that are groomers, and they do that on
That's
purpose.
that's who they look for.
They're
yes.
vulnerable.
Yeah.
And we've all seen it, the little girls, you know, or kids in general that don't have a father or whatever and are looking for that love, and so they want that extra attention and they're seeking that, and they need it, and it's sad they're not getting that.
And for the middle class, upper middle class women who form most of the British mainstream media, they regard these little girls, because they're mostly, not entirely, but mostly working class white girls. They're just scum anyway. That's what they really think.
They're just white trash or
Yeah,
whatever.
they're just white trash. I don't.
And I'm
care
sorry,
about
but the
them
kids
at
are
all.
kids. There are kids. You know, there are children. There
They're
are
little,
white
they're
children.
little girls. I'm sorry. An 11-year-old little girl is an 11-year-old little girl.
Right.
I don't care what class she comes from.
Right.
Don't care
Right.
at all.
Right. And when in a country like England, when they're being you know, chosen, they're being like actually hunted down and preyed upon because they are white English girls. And this is in England, and what the hell, people? What the hell? There should be so much outrage. I mean, they should have had mobs going to rescue these girls and
when
to
that
burn those
happens,
houses down. You know,
Aubrey, when that happens, as we have said earlier in this very stream, it's the people who are upset about this who are blamed, not the people who do the sexual assaults.
Right.
It's
never them.
It's also one of those things where, like, if it's like low level bad stuff, people can accept that. But you can get things that are just so awful, people just shut down.
Right.
Because it's too much psychological trauma for them.
Right.
And they just rather just not think about it. And
it's
that happens.
easier.
That's something that's happened in this case, really. Just
Yeah, I agree. It's easier to just focus on their young kids themselves and like not to even think about those horrors.
yeah, especially like when they're not.
Richard Phillips is saying you can't fight a tyrannical state. Well, we are trying to do so, mate. We are trying to do so.
Especially when it's not directly affecting you, your family. It's just a lot of people just find it easier just to not think about these things.
Right. Like,
That's just the
honey,
basic-
isn't that terrible? And then move on to what do you want for dinner? That. Yeah. Yep. It is easier. And I don't know, I told my dad about this and I said, what would you have done? And he said, I would have gone in and killed anybody I had to kill to get you out of there. But, every dad wants to do that. But of course, you guys don't have guns
the
over there, for
plan.
one thing.
Well-
But yeah, but when you have the police actually coming in and
Yeah.
arresting you, then, so it's just, oh my
Yeah,
God.
it's
And
like-
for the dads that knew
There-
where the
there-
girls
there-
were,
there-
the torture
there's
that would be, that you can't go in
they-
there and save them.
Guys, there are many cases in the so-called grooming gang scandals, which are really they're mass
The rape. Yeah.
They're mass rape scandals, really, and not just
And
rape.
murder sometimes.
Murder, torture,
Disfigurement.
all sorts of things. But there's been chicks who have been moved to Pakistan, right? Who are just sex slaves in Pakistan.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
And those girls are never going to be returned. You think the British Army's going to go in there and save them under Starmer or under Andy Burnham? Yeah, you don't even think about it, mate, because it ain't going to happen.
It's so horrible.
It's detestable, is what it is. But there were dads who were separated from their wife, who still went and tried to save their daughter.
They weren't
And
necessarily separated.
But some of them did, and they also were arrested by the British police, while the British police gave their daughters back to their group rapists.
If I were a
That's
parent
what happened.
and that happened, I would absolutely lose my mind. That if you're in a jail cell, knowing that your daughter has just been returned to that, I don't know how in the hell you handle that.
Listen, it's way worse than you think, Aubrey, because British police actually said that 11-year-old girls could deliberately be prostitutes.
Yeah, which
So,
what is the age of consent over there for you guys?
16.
16. So
16,
I mean,
16.
right there, you're right there, you're breaking the law
Bear
yourself.
in mind, the Labour Party's newest deal is you can't go on social media if you're under 18.
Right.
But apparently, you can be an 11-year-old girl and want to be gangbanged.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, over and over and over again.
By Pakistanis.
Yeah. And you used a perfect word, Duke, that is torture. This was torture. This was sick torture
when I said torture, Aubrey, they were literally
literally torturing them. I know.
Yeah, they were using
They dismembered some kids, some of these girls.
Listen, they killed at least one or two of them, but that's not my point. They were torturing many of them, either physically or mentally.
Yeah.
And these are little girls as young as 11.
That should be playing still outside, playing with dolls or playing with, tag with their friends.
Any society that thinks that's okay is sick and needs to die.
Right. And, our countries, both, I mean, we are supposed to be so far above that and so far above, that we're supposed to be the ones that fight for justice. Right. And so when that's happening internally, it's so sick. And, I know that's got to be happening in the US too, in some of these Muslim communities.
you said about paying off the police. I'm sure that happened with a bunch of them
Mhm.
as well. Like any crime gang always
Right.
involves the police.
Right. Right.
And of course, if they're Muslims, they're going to be related. They don't
Mhm.
even need paying off. I mean, come on, Farium, you know.
No,
that.
but there
Yeah.
are some of our own people who were involved in this. And
Yeah.
let it
Oh
happen.
yeah, I'm sure
That's
there
what I mean.
were a few. I hope
Right.
there weren't many, but yeah, there probably were some for sure.
Do you
There's
guys
enough.
think that so what this was pretty well hidden though at the time? Is that right?
No,
Like when it was early on?
not really.
It
No.
depends where you were. If
Okay.
you were in one of these
Yeah.
areas, then you knew. But if you weren't, like if you were in like a lot of the country where they didn't have that happening, then yeah, you didn't know.
There's a fairly well-known policewoman who started shouting about it fairly early on,
Mhm.
and she was sacked. She was kicked out of the police.
Yeah. Yeah, it just, it needs to be examined and looked at to see how this goes on such a wide scale, how it goes on for so long and where all those breakdowns really are. And the people need to be prosecuted. The people that just turned a blind eye or took money, because they are just as culpable in my eyes.
Oh yeah, and all of their families need to be deported.
Yeah.
All of them.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because they covered
For
it
sure.
up. They all
For
need
sure.
to be deported back to
For sure.
Pakistan. Fuck
Right.
off.
Did
All
you
of
see
them.
that Ian Dale on LBC? He was talking to some person, and he's going, "Well, you can't want to live in a country where we just deport people who've been given legal residence." And the guy goes, "Yes, I do."
Yeah, yeah, sure can. Yeah.
I'd put them on the aircraft with bayonet. I really would. I'd shove my bayonet up their ass to get them on the aircraft. All of them, the whole family.
Wow. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, like we were saying too, the wives knew. They knew of these men.
Of course they did. So
Yep.
did the children.
Right.
So did the grandparents. All
Right.
of them knew.
Right.
One of the things that another thing that came out was the one thing that the gangs seemed to fear was the EDL, which is the English Defence League, which is basically a bunch of football lads, was them coming around.
Oh.
It wasn't the police. They weren't scared of the police because they knew the
Mhm.
police were on side.
That's so sad. It's so sad. And for these little girls to grow up now not feeling, how do you feel like there's anybody protecting you at all? You
Yeah.
know that the police turned their back on you or sometimes even took these girls back. They've heard these stories from the other girls. What is your sense of safety at all above you in the world? And how do you go?
Broken people.
Right, right. And I don't know that therapy can get you ever maybe to a somewhat functioning level, of course, but like you're never going to be normal. These are ruined lives. They are, and their families are going to be affected by it. The parents of these poor girls, the brothers and sisters, and then these girls that are going to try to have relationships and not be able to, to have that intimacy or that, you know what I'm talking about. And that's going to affect them, their husbands, their children, their parenting, the way they parent. It's just like the Catholic school or the Catholic church, the kids that were raped and molested over here. You have one person, one priest, and you've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of victims by the time it all umbrellas out. And you talk about, the children and then their families and then their children that they're going to have. And like, how it because that trauma it sticks and it is passed down.
All I would say is Dopek 9540 in the chat says David Ball said reform wouldn't deport the people who knew about it again. Well, David Ball is a gay guy, and I wouldn't care what he says.
Well, I would deport him.
I'm not keen on gay guys.
He's the chairman of Reform Albury.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. That's sick.
All right, guys. I don't think we're going to advance this any further at this stage. Thank you to my guests this evening.
I do know they want. Sorry, I know they want to plan to do some private prosecutions.
I
Well,
like
I
that.
hope,
I hope
I
so.
hope they do. I hope they do. I hope they do.
Oh yeah, Richard Phillips. Yeah, bad things about American police too. Woke problems. Absolutely. Like I said, I think that in some of these areas where like where Ilhan Omar is, and all this corruption in these big communities of these Muslims that are here, they hate us. And so that is a really, just like I was saying in the Black communities, where these white girls are a trophy. I'm sure this is happening here. Absolutely. It's
Okay.
sad.
Well, this was mainly a very stream, but thank you.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Duke. You know what? I know you're mad at me already. Let's get past that. We'll talk about it later. You don't have to keep throwing these comments at me.
We will
Don't
talk.
do it.
We'll talk about it
God.
later.
I'm rolling my eyes, by the way.
It does seem to be like I don't know, in America the feeling I get is it's more like a sort of just like part of like gang crime sort of in the culture in these cities rather than sort of the ethnic side that
there is
like in England it's like
yeah,
it's more like just ethnic warfare straight out.
Right.
Whereas
It's a
in
war
America it's more
against culture of Britain. Right.
As America there's more like a business side to it. It's like we can make money pimping out children, so that's just what they do.
I mean, I think it's a gang thing, like in the Black communities. That's where it's been really mostly seen. But I think we are starting to get more and more of these Muslim communities popping up that are gaining strength and getting strength in numbers. I mean, look at Detroit, Dearborn area. So I know it's going to be happening here too.
I'd like to go to Detroit one day.
Why?
Yeah, you're a moron.
No, I do. I just want to see it because it's Detroit is a remarkable city, really, because it used to be so big. It was just in terms of like living standards for the average person. It was probably one of the best that humanity's ever seen.
It was the place where they built cars and
it was just and then to look at it now.
Right.
It's just the decline is, I don't know. It would just be something I'd like to see.
I've been there twice for hockey games, and you don't venture outside that area.
Farium, it's a bit like Birmingham used to be, where all the British cars were built.
Yeah.
And it's completely destroyed now.
I wouldn't go to any of the blue cities in America. If you stay out of those, I mean, America is a beautiful country.
I'm not.
But yeah,
I'm not going there for beauty. I'm going there for the ruin. Just the
right. The experience to see. I know, but what's funny? It's still
guys.
Wait. Let me finish my fucking sentence. But you go right outside of Detroit, and you have some of the wealthiest areas in the country. Still, it's pretty remarkable.
Fine. Listen, there are parallels between America and UK. I'm not sure that this evening we were talking about many of them. But
no, we weren't, and I wasn't either. So you were gone for a big portion of that, but
a whole 3 minutes. I know.
I didn't speak.
All right.
Tonight.
Okay, whatever. Thank you very much to my guests, Horace, Adaman, AI, Tharium, and Aubrey. Thank you very much. Go off, guys. We will see you on Wednesday, probably, for a history stream. Take care and don't let the bastards grind you down.